Look what I found, look what I found. Purple tulips for the Tulip Fest Sew Along. I'm Pat Sloan, welcome to my neighborhood. This is Monday, March 25th. Doing this on a Monday instead of on the prior weekend because I was out of town. And so this is when we do it. I'm trying to do this once a week, which will be somewhere between usually Saturdays or Sundays. There's no podcast today because of my travel. I take a break every so many weeks and have an off week of podcasts, but there'll be a new one next week. Got some fabulous guests for next week. So tell me in the comments whether you've been listening to the podcast. It's like, I would really like to know if you have. I think that'd be a lot of fun to hear if you've been listening. All right, so I want to share what I've been working on and talk a little bit about sewing with people. That was my question last week. It's like, do you sew with anybody? Do you sew by yourself? Do you have a group? And I thought it was really interesting to read your comments and really think about what you were saying. So these were all left here at YouTube. Well, there's probably some left at Facebook too, so you can look over there. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I think it's an interesting topic and one that a lot of you had sort of a common thread that you didn't really know anybody local to sew with. So I wrote Sunday on my website that I had seen the purple tulips at the grocery store. I went back today, I went over today, walked over, and they had them. I was like, yes. They only had like 3 bunches. I thought about getting 2 bunches, but I think I'm just going, I don't know that I've ever bought cut tulips. So the leaves are really floppy, which, I don't know, they're kind of neat because they're sort of flopping along the side of the vase like this. So I don't know what that'll look like in a few days, you know, when they sort of go like, but for today, they look pretty darn good. They'll open. Got one that had like nice buds that were going to open. They also had yellow ones. And was that it? I think they just had yellow and purple tulips. So I am going to shift my lovely bouquet over here to the edge so I don't bump it. And I don't know, we don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. So a few things. Our flower bouquet block. This is it from last Wednesday. I forget what number it was. You know what number it was. 10, 11, I think it was 12. So I love this block. I would like to make a whole quilt of these because they're very easy. You know, it's super easy. You could strip piece for these units, you know, so if you were doing like a lot of the centers the same, I just think it'd be fabulous. So that's sort of my, on my wish list now. Like, you know, every time I make a block, I'm like, this will look great as a whole quilt. So somebody sew that up for me so I don't have to do it. You sew it up, then I'll be able to see it. Let me put this over here in my rolling assistant. I've got my cart with me today. So it's over here. Now this is Monday and it is 25th, which is Button Club Day. So I work with Fat Quarter Shop and they asked me to design a project for their button clubs to showcase the buttons. Now on my website, which I'll give you the link, is a picture of where I will put the buttons, but I just have it as a block here to show you. I don't have it quilted. And I'm kind of, you know why? I'm kind of trying to decide, you know, do I want it as 3 blocks for like a table runner? Like if I did a table runner, I would probably do 2 like this with the strawberries. And this is called, Dreaming of Strawberries, I think is what I called it. But then if I was to do a table runner, I'd probably do the middle one empty, you know, like with no applique, because I like to put a vase or a bowl with things in it on my coffee table runner right in the middle. So these could go on either side. And maybe if I did that, I would turn them sideways, like this way, and then on the other end, go that way, and then one in the middle. Now I want to show you the fabric I use because it's one of the bundles that came the other week, and it is so stinking cute. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's called Cheeky, and there are, let me just open the one big print because I could do a whole quilt with this and then board. Look at that. It's huge. Look how big. I'm putting my hand next to, this is a big rose. And that big rose comes in several, oh, here it comes with white. So still with the pink roses. And I think it comes with the blue. Yes, the blue is super nice. Comes in blue. Okay, so some of the other prints that are in here that I really love, which, you know, was the dot. You saw the dot and the plaid in the strawberries. Then there's these little straw flowers. And so these all come in, you know, several, here's like pink plaid, pink straw flowers, white with pink dots. There's a green plaid and green straw flowers. This is gorgeous. The green and yellow with the pops of blue. And then you could do the dots with the yellow. And there's yellow straw flowers. Oh, here's another big rose print that has more blue dots. Then there's these other sort of lattice work, a nice tiny print. See that one? I think this is really cool. This sort of flower, it almost looks like a hair tie or something, doesn't it? It's like a little loop with the flower on the end. There's a bunch of those in different colors. Here is a blue with that small print so you can really see what it looks like. The blue plaid is gorgeous, just gorgeous. And those are all the colors and prints that come with it. Oh, here's the red straw flowers. Now I use this little basically like an essential dot. It's white with little tiny red dots on it. And I think that went really well with those fabrics for the block. Here's the block again, close up. Ta-da. So I did the applique. Now this, I want to tell you, let me move these guys. This is inspired, this block is inspired from my farmer's market quilt. And I have a little tab in here. See this? I can show you my farmer's market quilt. Here, let's just pull this up a minute so that we can talk. So if you have been around me for a little while, you will know that my granny worked for the farmer's market. So if any of you are from an area where you get Kessler meats, K-E-S-S-L-E-R, Kessler meats, which is based, I think, I don't know what town, it's Pennsylvania, but I don't know what town. That is who my granny worked for, all of her adult life for quite a many number of years. And it's a meat company, and so she worked and sliced lunch meats and cheeses and whatever they sold, and then she worked the farmer's market. A couple of times a week, there was two markets, one in the city and one in the suburbs. And she worked both of those markets. And so I have all these enormous, wonderful memories of the farmer's market. This is my quilt, my farmer's market quilt, which is in my applique book. And so it's all, it's all shapes and just wonderful. This is the book, but I'll link to it down there. But this is one of my favorite quilts. And I thought, gosh, I wonder if I could remake it in these. These would be sort of yummy to remake it. But I probably won't personally remake it because I probably will move on and work on other things. But it tempts me. It tempts me when I do the one block and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. It is so cute. So I hope you will make yourself a little strawberry mat or a table runner. You could even, if you want a bigger mat, you could do 4 of these together, and it would be a large for like the center of your table. It's like my mother-in-law has a round table, and so she likes to put square mats in the middle of that. I have a round table too, so I don't really put, I don't really put long runners. I don't have a table like that, a dining room table like that. It's just my living room table that's long. Okay, so those were the blocks. Those are the blocks for this week that I got to share. And remember, next week, whoops, I just knocked pins on the floor. Oh well. Remember, next week is Out of This World, my monthly block of the month that has the space theme. That is, the first is coming up, so be ready for that. Okay, you ready for Tulip Fest? Let's talk about Tulip Fest. What is Tulip Fest? It is sew along for my Tulip Blocks, and from the book, from my new book, right? Ta-da! Here are the Tulip Blocks. Here's the purple one, and I did a post that gave the schedule for the sew along. So right now, many of you have already ordered your book. It's going to be arriving the next day or so. If you didn't order it, I mean, it's been out for a month, so chop chop. Get that ordered. Here's one with a blue background because I wanted to do the white heart, and then here's a pink heart in a red tulip. So these are the fabrics that I worked with when I was gathering to do all of these tulip blocks. I went and got different fabrics, and I really, went digging around in my purples because, oddly enough, right now I don't have a ton of purples. So I have this group, which, may or may not be able to do enough tulip blocks. We certainly couldn't do a whole quilt, but here's another one. This one came recently from one of my guests. It's her new line. But I definitely have enough to do like 4 tulips. So I'm kind of contemplating 4 tulips, which would all have, the polka dot. Oops, here we go. We'll all have the polka dot background because I just love that. But I think I might do 2 with the big polka dot and then do 2 with maybe a smaller polka dot. Make a 4 block wall hanging. You can see the wall hanging on the cover. It's actually big enough to be a lap quilt. So, it's a good size. So if you would rather have a lap quilt, or you could just do like 1 block. Like if you are decorating with a lot of black check, it's kind of the in thing right now. You would see a lot of black checks being decorated with. You could just do 1 block and put an inner border and an outer border and hang it like that. There's also a tulip table runner. The actual quilts will be here I think towards the end of the week. The publisher is sending them back to me, so I'll have them and I'll be able to show them to you. So like so here's like the black check. Here, I'll show you. Grab the fabrics here. So here was my fabric bundle for the yellow and the black check. I just kept it all in this basket. But I wanted to show you, if you love pink tulips, if that is your what you want to do, I found this really nice bundle. So let's take a quick look. I will see what's in here, because these pinks, the Fat Quarter Shop is doing a color bundle each month. This was February, so it was all these sort of corally pinks to light pinks. And if I open it one more, there we go. Now I can show you. Look at that. That is pretty. I love how that little dot shows, and then some other small print. Then there's nice plaid. I like the variety. When you get these bundles, that they curate them, they put them together. Here's words, pink words. I love words. Oh my goodness. Chickens and baby chicks. Another pretty floral. And here's another different type of floral with a little darker pink in it. And a polka dot. Gotta have a polka dot. Some tossed daisies. And this one has other colors too, which I like. I like the little pop of navy because a few other ones had some navy and yellow, so that's really nice. It coordinates. And here are a few of the other prints in here. This red is really great, deep red, and these are tiny little X's. They're sort of a really nice background or small print, ditzy print. More flowers, and then the bigger floral. There's 2 that have sort of this bigger flower. So these would be great cut up to make tulips. They would be absolutely fantastic. And you could just get the bundle, and then you would have all that you would need to play around with for a bigger tulip quilt. So I think they're all Fat Quarters. So it's a great bundle. I'll link you link you to that if this was your colors and you were like, you just want to. I know sometimes I don't keep tons of fabric, which sounds weird, so I don't have space, and I have to use newer things for work. So sometimes, like when I went looking for the purple, it's like I'm really low on purple. I haven't done anything with purple lately. Apparently the lines that I'm being sent don't have purple in them, or the lines I get in to review. So I am low on purple. I do have one place I need to go look where I put some bundles for future. I need to go see if there's any purple in there. Got any purple? So another thing I talked about, just posted out there over the other day, was talking about labels. And I thought I would show you. Now I'm getting messy here. So I would show you a little bit about the label and then link, because I have a tutorial on how I do labels. But I thought I'd walk you through it. I don't have a mock-up, but I have the green square quilt. So see the green square, this is a green square quilt, it's all the green squares, which I did find a name. I don't have it here yet. I will have to do something about it, but I saw a name that I really liked, and so it's going to have a name now. Yay! But here, so somebody said to me, why should we have a label? Like why? And I thought, well, that's interesting, because I can't imagine not having a label. But like when I give a quilt to my family, the first thing they do is they look for the label. They like turn it over and go, where's the label? They want to see that I wrote it to them, of course, and then they want to see that what I wrote. I'll put a little note to them. It's almost like a card, but really it's documentation. Did you even like think about pictures? Did you ever go through old pictures and you're like, who made that? If you put this label on, it will tell you. So I am putting the label on. Let me just put it out here. This is the corner of the quilt, and it's a triangle, so that when I go to put my binding on, and I'm pulling the binding from the back to the front, like my tutorial, but I will just put the label is tucked under here, so that when I sew the binding on, these two sides are locked down underneath. And then all I have to do is stitch this side. This one is not very fancy. It's just a square folded in half. And I write on it with either Sharpies or Pigma pens. Sharpie pens or Pigma pens. Those are the two types of pens that I use. Somebody said, oh, well, what if you're washing it, like washing? And I thought, well, if you're doing that, then maybe you want to embroider by hand or machine, the important facts, because over time things can wash out if you were like heavily washing this quilt. And I would, that'd be like something maybe you made for a baby quilt and you really intend them to be washing it a lot, then just embroider it. And so that's thread and it's not going to go away. But the others will last for your normal washing. It's not really going to be any kind of problem. So I have a couple other things here. Now these, let me just see if I can set that. I think I can set that over there. When I came back, so first when we were going on the trip, we were out to North Carolina, and we saw a guild down in North Carolina. I don't do a lot of travel. So this was one of the few. We really enjoyed meeting everybody. And on our trip back, I was so excited because we would be going past Skipper, Virginia, down basically at the southern border of Virginia. And there is a peanut company called the Good Earth Peanut Company. And I don't know if you remember a few years ago when I showed that I got to stop side of the road. There was a field of cotton in bloom. So exciting. And I took a piece of the cotton. That was right next to the Good Earth Peanut Company. So whenever we go down there, what I like to do is pick up peanuts, because Virginia peanuts are amazing. It's a type of peanut. It actually, a Virginia peanut can be, if you want to get technical, can be grown in several states, but it is a type of peanut, and they're big. They're big peanuts. You might see them in there. See them? So, and then they also do lots of other things like yummy. These ones are pecans. So I'm so excited. It's like my snack, my little snack from the Good Earth Peanut Company. So I got home and I thought, you know, I was asking, what do you work on? What should I work on when I get home? I can't process and do new things after a trip. You know, my brain is sort of in another mode, so I needed to find something, and I decided to do some free motion quilting on a very, 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 very old project that's been waiting patiently, and now I have all but 2 borders and the inner borders to machine quilt. So that is what I was doing, and it is a pattern from my friend Bunny Hill, Ann Sutton of Bunny Hill. So here's a bit of it, and I use really sort of wild, intense fabrics. So they're all little basket, and they have critters in them or flowers or something. And then I used this, I wanted to use this border print for it. Why, I don't know, but back when I was doing this, I decided that's what I was going to do. So I did the green polka dots for everybody, and then they're seasonal. So that is, and I'm excited about this. I'm excited to have it nearing completion, really. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Originally, I was thinking of giving it to my great niece. She's a little girl. I thought, you know, she's not a big girl yet. She's still a little girl. And so I thought, well, maybe I'd still do that, you know, because she might enjoy it. It's fun. You know, I like to gift everybody a new quilt in the family every so often, and it doesn't happen as much as I'd like to. So I want to correct that over time. So here's another tip I have. When I'm pin basting, I keep my pins in this old canning jar. First of all, it's pretty. I have to use pretty things. I really don't like having things that aren't very pretty around. And it inspires me. Plus the glass is just gorgeous. So I use these quick clips. If you have my machine quilting book, I tell you about that. This opens and closes. I use it mostly just to close the pins, but it has a little ridge, and it works perfectly, and it's very inexpensive. And then my other big tip, which I also I think tell you in the book, is that when I put my pins in the jar, I leave them open. So there are my pins. My pins are open because I need to take them out of the jar, and I dump them onto whatever I'm basting. You know, I would just dump them out like that, and then I will pick it up and baste. So I don't have to do anything. I have a tutorial out there on one of the videos. I should find it, that shows you how to baste with these. And I also have my fast action video. But the big thing is, if I close these and put them in here, then that means I have to have an extra step every time I start to open them up, which is wasteful, and it's harder on your wrists. So I just leave them open. And because it's only Greg and I, there's nobody here that is going to get into the pins. I don't even have pets, so it's quite safe. But you have to know your own situation to know if you might have pets or that might knock it on the floor, and you don't want open pins all over the floor. Although right now I have straight pins on the floor because I knocked them off the table while I was sitting here. Oh, crazy, right? What's wrong with me? I have them in the pin bowls. So there's some that got on the bottom of the magnet. See the little pin bowls? They're cute. I have a blue one. I don't know why they're both over here at the moment, but on the same side of the table. Usually one's on the other side with the sewing machine. And then here's another pin bowl. That one's got the little flowers. And it's pink, 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 pink. So that is my pin bowls. Did I have anything else going on? No, I'm doing a lot of projects that I'll be sharing in the spring. And I know it's spring technically, but I'll say May. And if I share sooner, yay, but otherwise May. Few people ask me about my cross stitch, and yes, I am doing a little bit. I didn't pull it up here because I was showing you all this other stuff, but I did a little bit. I took it on the trip. I didn't sew much on the, didn't cross stitch much on the trip. Hotel rooms are dark, but I used the little light clips, and I did do a little bit on it. So I need to get it out so I can do it. I'll do some tonight. That's what I'll do some tonight. So first, I want to talk about sewing with other people. Because the questions last week, I had, do you want to sew with other people or not? And I thought, okay, let's think about this. If you want to have friends to sew with, people, this is what happened. People would say, I would like to sew with other people, but I don't know anybody that sews. Or, I don't know how, basically that's the gist of it. I don't know anybody that sews. So here's the deal. You go out and find them. They're there. And you don't have to find just people who sew. What is really fulfilling in my particular group of friends, we have people who don't sew who come and meet with us because they make other things. They might knit, they might do beadwork, they might do scrapbooking or altered art, and there's parts of that they bring along, or they just bring it for show and tell and they come for the friendship. But what you'll find is anybody that makes things is like-minded. They're like you. They make things because it's fulfilling, it feeds their soul, they like to use their hands, and it's a community, it's a personality, it's a like-minded people. So how do you find people? First of all, you don't find people by sitting at the computer saying you wish you had friends. Sorry, I know, it would be lovely. It'd be lovely if somebody just like emailed you out of the blue and said, come to the church on Tuesday afternoon, we sew. That would be lovely. They might already be doing that and you just don't know it, that they're there. So if you want to find a community, if you want to find local people to sew with, then be proactive. Put some, elbow grease into it. Go out and find them. And so how do you find them? I know, it sounds weird, right? It sounds like, well, how am I going to find friends? I've done this. My mother-in-law has done this. We have both done this because locally we wanted to find people. My first time I did this, I was in my office at work. I put a note on the bulletin board that I was going to sew at lunch in the conference room on the second floor. And if you sewed or beaded or knitted, crocheted, bring your stuff at lunch. Come sit with me. And that is how I built a community of people. Some would stay for a while, some would pop in every so often. It was lovely. My mother-in-law did the same thing. She has a local guild, so she knew about that. She knew there were people, but they met at night, and she did not want to go out at night. So what she did is she put a note on her church bulletin board, and she said that if you wanted to learn to quilt, she would teach you. And she did. So she had a group of people she knew, and then a few other people, not very many, like a small group. And I think her group ends up, it's around 6 people, usually. Maybe they've gone up to 8. And people come and people go, and they're a little bit older now. So, that's what happens in life. So she, but she's always had people who sew. And what happened is these are people that also didn't know anybody else that sewed, or they wanted to learn. She found quilt makers there that came that had been quilting for years by themselves, had never ever known anybody else. I remember reading on my Facebook group one day, somebody said they just stopped at the library and there was a sewing group in the library and they invited her to join. In your local area, look for guilds. If you can look through your newspaper. If you have a fabric store or a sewing center of some sort, they probably know whether there's guilds, to join. But you don't have to have a guild. You can just put up a note in your library, put up a note in your community center, in your church, in your grocery store, your Starbucks, your local coffee shop, your local hangout if you're a very tiny community. There are ways. You just pick a place. You will find, like around here even, our police stations, you can hang out and rent the community rooms. There are community rooms there, places you may not realize. Your your government centers may have community rooms available to you to rent out or borrow. Same with your library. All right, so the goal is if you were sitting there thinking, I would really like to find somebody local, somebody in person, then be proactive and go out and find them, okay? Yeah, you could do it. You can do it. It's not hard. It's not scary. They want to find you as much as you want to find them. So it'll be good. Okay, let's go to the fun part. Now, this is not working very well. Each week I'm doing a giveaway here. Only like the people don't answer. You don't write me. I don't have your email, so I don't have any way to write you. And so we're gonna do this one more time, and then I need feedback. That's what the question is going to be this week. For you to give me some feedback on where you would go, because if you know, it's not fun for me to have to go pick new names again and keep, you know, like the prize doesn't get sent out. It's not fun for you, not fun for me. So first, let's give away from last week. I have this bundle, and it has two of these rolls in it. Sorry, I'm reading over here trying to see what I'm doing. It has these two really cute rolls, and the name that I picked is just perfect. This is going to be so perfect. This is for Patty Tongate, Tongate. And what Patty said is she says she mostly quilts alone, but on Fridays, a young woman from her church comes over and she's teaching her to make quilts. Even though she herself, Patty says, she's a new quilter. So she's been sewing since she was a teenager, but she's new to quilting. So as any of you who have gone through that same transition, you know, quilting has its own terminology, and it's not like putting a set in sleeves, and you know, the pattern writing is different. So I think this is a perfect package to go to her, because if she wants to share some of this with her friend that she's teaching to quilt, this young woman, that would be so cool. I think that would be very cool. So what that means is that, let me just make a note here, is that I need somebody to take last week's prize, because it didn't happen. This is the one where I have fabric and mini charm packs, and I have the same cross stitch I'm doing, the same cross stitch, and the little flower holders for the floss holders, all of this. This did not go to the prize winner because they didn't come and listen to the end again this week, and so they missed out. So you need to leave me a comment and tell me, would you prefer like to go over to my website and leave a comment? Because I don't want you leaving your emails here. So that means it's either we continue like this and see if people will get used to coming back, and so I don't have to keep redoing prizes, which is boring, or should I just send you over from here, send you over to my website where I can put a blog post, you know, and I'll put the Fireside chat in it after it's done, and you know, that kind of a thing. So there you go. We're going to try again, see if we can make this work. Because see, on my website I can get your email, and then I can directly email you, and that works much better than this process here. So I am Pat Sloan. If you have not joined me yet at my neighborhood, come to Facebook at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. If you're on Instagram, I'm Quilter Pat Sloan there. I post over there as well. And my website, sign up for my newsletter. And you need to be making tulips, right? Tulips, Tulip Fest. I can't wait till they come up in the yard. Yes. Have a great week. I'll see you online. Bye-bye.